foundation, and I was asked for a short talk about what he used to do in the northern states of Mexico. So I try I will try to give a picture, a wider picture of what we're doing down there. First of all, there's a lot of amount of information about the use of AI for both research purposes and production purposes in Mexico, but only a small amount of ranchers or producers in Chihuahua and other states use it as a tool for management, for genetic improvement. As a way of comparison, about 53% of all bankrupt breeders in Mexico use it, both dairy or beef producers, and around 20% of them beef cattle producers use it in Chihuahua. Which producers use AI in northern states in Mexico? There's a wide variety of producers, which include ejidatarios, which are common ground users, commercial cattle producers, registered cattle producers, mixed cattle producers, and not all of them use as equal as the others. In the state of Chihuahua, these practices are becoming more and more commonly used for both AI and embryo transfer practices, and important. But, however, these practices are mostly accessible for large, well-financed cattle producers. This is a difficulty which we still have, which limits us to apply these technologies. And this part of these conditions were addressed by Dr. Perry about the facilities. We sometimes have to deal with this, with all the consequences that you may know about the stress, the handling of the cattle, the risk for the inseminator, and things like that. Not all of us, let me go back, we get to work in facilities like this, which are just fine, but these are very common too. This is some information about a survey related to the information which practitioners have about the AI use in northern states of Mexico. And you may see that only 19% of them use artificial insemination, and among other practices such as embryo transfer, pregnancy detection, fertility tests, and some others. In which animals are they using it? They use it mostly in heifers and in both commercial and Jersey cattle production systems, and in mature cows and ranches dedicated to the sale of breeders. There are a lot of most-tyrus influenced herds, but there are some Bos indicus herds as well. So we have to adapt all those things both in heifers or in calves. But to answer the question, why is AI used so little in northern Mexico? We do a survey, a routinary survey about every 3 years, and we ask producers their impressions about the use of AI. And these are the results for 2014, the survey. And you might see that more than half of them believe it doesn't work. Pregnancy rates, higher income with genetic improvement. They don't believe in genetic improvement as a tool guided by AI. They think it's expensive, they think it's complicated and difficult, they lack trained personnel, and they lack of the facilities too. Another issue or another thing to be considered is the competence between AI versus the herd goal. We all know that the pregnancy is higher with the bull when compared to AI, but many of the producers do not really know this. There is a perception of the producers that with the use of AI, she's gonna get the same percentage of pregnancies with her bull. In practical terms, AI can be profitable in two ways: shortening postpartum days to pregnancy, early postpartum pregnancy due to sync treatments and synchronicity treatments and eye, and the genetic advantage, increase the calf weight by the genetic improvement. But what is the real overall perception of the Mexican producer about this? Is AI really a profitable practice? Well, to answer this, we have to consider all of these factors. This has to do with synchronization in AI. This must have an investment, an economic investment. Genetic improvement must be gained, which means increased calf weight, and the producer can expect added value per calf, right? Yeah. He must get increased profit. But as always, we deal with nutrition issues, environmental conditions, economic conditions, price fluctuation at the border. We have to take into consideration that Chihuahua is a state which most of the cattle producing activities are for export into the United States. So price fluctuation at the border is a major issue when considering these genetic improvement programs. The sanitary conditions, such as the presence of diseases, the campaigns of eradication of diseases and some others. So the producers must have a clear idea of these all conditions that which may vary from year to year in order to get what he was expecting. Frequently we ask ourselves, are there any other reasons to do AI other than genetic improvement? Well, if we ask the producers, we have some answers such as this. Some use AI even for family tradition. They say my father, my grandparents used to do AI, so I have to do AI. They don't have the clear idea of genetic improvement and the economics that might have these kind of programs. So they stay to family tradition. The mandatory use of government financial support, or even animal health. I don't want to mean that these reasons have to be bad ones, but they are commonly observed. For example, for animal health considerations, there's an issue, animal health issue that we have, which is prevalence of trichomona in beef bulls in Chihuahua, in the state of Chihuahua. There's a study that's being carried out as we speak, in which bulls are tested for the disease, for trichomonas, and we have found about 77% negative bulls and 23% of positive bulls. This is the state of Chihuahua, and the blood dots include or represent the places where we have found positive cases of trichomona, and the negative are the white dots. So as you can figure, there's a very wide spread of this disease. When we look the infected bulls related to the age, we can see a clear rise according to their age, which means that the use of older bulls might increase the dispersion of this disease. Related to this program, or this study of this problem that we are facing right now, we have recommended actions: slaughter positive bulls, repeat the diagnosed test in suspicious bulls about 60 days later, make pregnancy check, observe or discover persistent of the cows, discover about the cows, and what we were talking about, the wide use of synchronization and AI in order to not use the infected bulls, at least not so much as they used to. When we talk about the hormonal treatment used in Chihuahua and northern Mexico, we have talked about or heard a lot about synchronization protocols. Basically, are the ones that are used in the U.S. With the exception of Restoril, we use a lot of Restoril in northern Mexico. But you use cedar is a widely used practice. We use cedar, the prostaglandin F2F, alpha, GnRH, ECG, and others. One of the most commonly used protocol is the closing 7-day combined with cedar protocol, which is you are all familiar with. What results are we having in northern Mexico? There's a wide variety of results in terms of pregnancy rates, depending on many known factors that we have heard in previous talks. Choose one. You can have as low as 20%, 40%, 60%, depends. And rangelands, cattle, the common practice or the common idea to manage by the producer is to have about 40% pregnancy after AI, but that might be improved with the proper handling of the cattle and other things. In terms of genetic improving weight, calf, also there is an influence about the semen that we get mostly from the U.S. and Canada and Europe. That is the people who use AI get their semen from the U.S. and Canada mostly, and that is basically the genetic improvement source that we're having. In other words, good genetic weigh more. The cattle produced in northern Mexico that is convinced of the advantages of this practice knows this. The needs brought to new ways of thinking. I try to include this information because this is a practice that is getting more common over the years. This is a ranch in Baja California, close to the border to Calexico, California, in which the breeders are kept in pens the whole time. It's located in the Imperial Valley in Baja California. Original plan is as a feedlot. There's a feedlot industry in that area, and this producer wanted to start as a feedlot, but changed the aim of the facility to reproduction and AI. He has an Angus and Black Angus based herd, completely managed in pens the whole time, very much like a dairy herd management system. They grow their own feed stuff, mostly alfalfa and wheat. And the synchronization protocols are what we're talking about. They use estrol, GnRH, prostaglandin F2 alpha, and ECG. And they use routinary resynchronized AI and cleanables afterwards. This is as I was telling you, this is a practice that is getting very common in Mexico, and it's getting more and more widely spread in Chihuahua, in Sonora, and in other states of Mexico. What results are they having? Operation costs are kept low by growing their own feed stuff. They grow their own pastures, and so they keep their cows close. Sorry. They have close monitoring of all females, including the bulls. They get to do prey check very often, so they can very closely monitoring of their heifers and calves. They have increased pregnancy when compared to the ranches, the cattle in the ranches, which is about 60-70%, which is fairly good. And they have for sale all registered and not registered high genetic quality animals, which they gives them some advantages. So I try to give you a wide picture of what we're doing. The use of AI is increasing with the years, but we have many limitations yet. There are a lot of good herds. They have good quality and a variety of breeds that are getting good results. So, for your attention, thank you very much.
We are producers from north of Mexico, and what I see is that artificial insemination is been increasing, and we've been increasing the genetics of our cattle. We haven't increased the genetic of our grasslands. That's a big problem. Our cattle have been grown. We have made bigger cows, but our ranches are the same size. So I think sometimes we blame AI, but the technology, but we are not taking care of the nutrition of our cattle.
Yeah.
So that is something that we always argue with the producers over there, that they want to start an AI program, but they don't have the nutrition. I think the success of that ranch in Mexicali is because it's not a ranch, it's a build-up. So nutrition is the key. It's something that we have to keep in mind. I just wanted to make that comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, we have some basic problems yet to fix, which has to do with the selection of the heifers and cows. The cows with a lower weight and size. But you were right. However, I've seen in Montezuma and Sonora very good cattle producers who are selecting their cattle very efficiently, and they're managing their ranches for a proper nutrition program that are getting very good results there in Montezuma.